Okay, enough speculation. I have all 58 pages of Mackenzie Shirilla's conduct reports, write-ups, and disciplinary infractions with the officer, the date, and all of the statements from the officers. So let's see what she's really doing inside prison these days. From making schmexual comments to the COs to getting groped by fellow inmates, she's been written up quite a lot. This one's super long, but it has to do with the stealing. This right here. Basically, they shook her down and searched her stuff, and this was on September 4th, 2024. They found, there's a ton, so I'm just going to state some of it. 29 bottles of paint, 1 bottle of wax, fake eyelashes, 1 neck scarf, 11 paint tubes, 20 plus rocks, homemade pillow, wire wrapped around pins, 3 boxes of Jell-O, tie-dyed bras and panties, 2 pairs of sunglasses, pink and purple rubber balloons, not inflated. Found a bunch of stuff that was stolen out of the kindwear unit that she did not work in. So they wrote her up for stealing and contraband. Mackenzie's statement about that when she went to her disciplinary hearing was, "I did not steal anything. I got it from blank," the inmate, whoever gave it to her. "I like to paint cups. She gave me the stuff. I paid $10 for each kindware." So she just told on the person that gave it to her. But yeah, so she was found guilty and was given 60 days commissary restriction and 60 days package restriction. They were not let her about to get some more stuff. Oh, this one's crazy. So this is about the video visitation write-up that she got written up for, and it was on September 22nd, 2025. On above date and time, I, Officer Miller, was reviewing via path visits. When selecting on IP blank, it was in fact not inmate blank, it was only inmate Shirilla. During these visit, multiple inappropriate things took place. The visit that took place at 6:06 p.m. at the 1524 Maker, Prison Shirilla shows her to the visitor. Then at 2108, the visitor shows a... Then lastly at 2253, the visitor shows her. Then on the visit at 742 at the 2401 marker, the visitor shows her with a sticking out of her pants twice. Then at 2517, the visitor sets the phone up and walks into the frame completely undressed. There was a total of 7 video visits taking place between inmate Shirilla and the visitor, all taking place on inmate account. So they were getting freaky on somebody else's account. Crazy. And for that one, she had nothing to say about that one. There was no statement, but her video visits got restricted for 60 days. She was found guilty. If you're wondering about the consensual schmexual one, that would be from this incident, and this was on August 1st, 2025. On August 1st, 2025, Officer Dennis was conducting a round on the 300 side of the unit at approximately 10:50 a.m. When I was in the 3rd bay, I saw inmate blank removing her hand from inmate Shirilla's buttocks region. For this reason, I am writing them for consensual schmexual. Let's see. Does she have any statements on that? She said, "I did not allow her to touch me, and I've never had a schmex ticket, and this is not me. I don't do that kind of stuff." Anyway, she went to the hole for 7 days. They found her guilty. This one's crazy long, so I'm going to summarize it for you. It says, "I approached Shirilla while she was in the case manager Jones' office to take her to the restroom to see if she was properly dressed. Shirilla was previously in Mr. Ream's office, and he had asked her for her hoodie, as it was altered, considered contraband. Inmate stated that she couldn't have it because she wasn't dressed properly under her hoodie. When I told her I was taking her in the restroom to make sure she was dressed properly so I could take her hoodie, she stated, if he got a from the way I'm dressed, that's his fault. As she got to the door of Ms. Jones' office, she told Ms. Jones to come with us to the restroom because she didn't feel comfortable. When we got to the restroom, Shirilla unzipped her hoodie and her state shirt was completely unbuttoned with just a sports bra on. She was instructed to button her shirt and give me her altered hoodie. The whole time we were in the restroom, she was very disrespectful and talked with a loud tone, asking if this was all we were worried about was her altered jacket. This inmate has had several conduct reports for contraband clothing. She's been given new state uniforms in exchange for the altered clothes. Her hoodie was clearly taken on the sides and was very form-fitting. Mackenzie's statement on that said, I went to the bathroom with her. I never said that. I did what they told me. I was not being disrespectful. Anyway, she went to the hole for 14 days for that one. So yeah, that's just 4 of the many crazy write-ups that Shirilla's getting. I can keep going if you want, because like I said, there's 58 pages. Wild time she's having in there. Wild time. I've got all 58 pages of Mackenzie Shirilla's prison disciplinary reports with the officer statements, the inmate statements, and everything in between. So let's jump into these. A lot of you guys wanted to know when Mackenzie's most recent write-up was, and that was actually on May 20th, which was just a few weeks ago. It says, inmate Shirilla did not report to her assigned job in CFS, which, if you didn't know, is the chow hall. It's where you can go eat the meals that are served, breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Due to her not working, she's being charged with rule violation 5.3. She also got written up for the same thing on May 9th, 2026. Her statement said, I thought I had a visit. She was found guilty, and they gave her 30 days bed restriction, which means you can't go on the yard. She also got written up for that on the 8th of May, but was found not guilty because her statement said, I was at the door waiting to go out, and they looked at the camera footage, and that was actually true. So she has a hard time getting up and getting to work. She also got written up on May 6th, 2026 for disrespect towards another person, including instigation of or perpetuating fighting, but it was found not guilty. It says the body of conduct report doesn't match camera footage. February 6th, 2026, she got written up because she went to the case manager's office to ask her about a ticket or a write-up that she received and wouldn't leave, even though the case manager told her 4 times to leave. And so she wrote her up again. So at this point, it's really giving like the COs and the staff there are not with Shirilla. She got written up again because she went to go ask about write-ups. And on January 16th, 2025, she was written up for misuse of authorized medication and possession of another contraband, blah, blah, blah. And it says that a random bed search was conducted on inmate Shirilla's bunk. During search, a packet of unknown medication was found with the name of individual prescribed. Inmate Shirilla admitted to using the meds and that they weren't hers. Also, she had a personal photo of herself containing drug use. For this reason, she's being charged with blah, blah, blah. She was found guilty, but her inmate statement says it did not have drug use in it. The pills was prenatal vitamins I got from another. Prenatal vitamins. She was found guilty. 30 days bed restriction. Then let's run it back to October 19th, 2024. She got written up for possession of property of another incarcerated person, possession of any other contraband, blah, 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 blah. It says, on the above date and approximate time, I, Officer Bryce, was conducting my random bed searches. During my search on inmate Shirilla, I found 2 pairs of altered state pants, a fan with the name and number blank crossed out and Shirilla written on the same side, and 4 nude magazine pictures. For this, I will be charging her with a 12.3 and a 12.7. She was found guilty and put on 30 days commissary restriction. I don't know where she got those photos or those magazines. Also, her statement was that I did have the fan and pants was turned into the quartermaster and I was charged. But yeah. The majority of her write-ups are for like altered clothing or out of place, which not taking up for her by any means, but getting written up for out of place is really, really, really easy. In my opinion, it's really feeling like, it's looking like the COs and the staff there don't with her. And usually that's because they know you're up to no good, and so they just catch you for whatever is possible. It's better to just keep your head down and not be noticed. Let's look at Mackenzie Shirilla's disciplinary infractions, and I'm going to tell you what they probably are for and what they mean from somebody who was in prison with her and was at that prison and has a pretty good understanding of these write-ups. May 16, 2024, she got written up for being out of place. Now that can be for a couple things. She either was not where she needed to be for count time, which happens 3 times a day, or she was in somebody else's dorm or unit, and usually that's not for a good reason. September 4th, 2024, stealing or embezzlement of property. Exactly that. I heard that she stole some beads from the bead room in her unit, which got her moved to another unit. All alleged. She was also written up for possession of contraband, including altered items. So she took something and either hemmed it to be more form-fitting, or she just messed around with something that was state issued. October 19th, 2024, possession of property of another incarcerated person. So she stole something from somebody. Or she had somebody's TV that had their name engraved on the back that a lot of people sell before they leave prison. And another contraband ticket. 11/11/2024, another contraband of altered items ticket. 2 days after that, on the 13th of November, disturbance of a direct order. So the COs were telling her to do something, and she basically said, as well as destruction, alteration, or misuse of property. Exactly that. On November 16th and November 30th, she got 2 more being out of place tickets. And then on December 10th of 2024, she got a disturbance of a direct order again and another being out of place ticket. January 16th of 2025, she had a misuse of authorized medication. So she had some prescription that she was hoarding and they found it on her. She either was or selling it or whatever, alleged. And another contraband ticket. She managed to stay out of trouble for the next 3 months, and on April 29th, she got a violation of visitation, including video visits. So something happened, either in a video visit or a real visitation, that was not allowed. I wonder who it was that was visiting her. The next day, Mackenzie got a sexual harassment ticket, disturbance of a direct order, and possession of contraband. Should I say more? May 1st, we've got a possession of contraband. July 15th, 2025, being out of place. 4 days later, she got an encouraging or creating a disturbance. So she was being reckless or egging somebody on to be reckless and obnoxious. July 23rd, being out of place. And to end this, on August 1st of 2025, she got a sexual conduct. Consensual, though. Needless to say, this is not the Mackenzie that I was in prison with. She was not doing any of this. She would be too scared. So prison's really gotten to her. All of these out of place tickets are probably her being in her little booze dorm that's not her dorm. So, and I want to know what all this contraband is. It can be from something really minuscule to something really crazy. All of this will be brought up at her parole hearing. And that's not a good look. That's a lot of write-ups to get in a short amount of time. Let's just get that established. Just crazy. Enough about Mackenzie Shirilla. Let's talk about her parents, because be so for real. Y'all know how I've told y'all that they've been literally funding her prison princess lifestyle. I mean, this started way before she went to prison. I mean, look at them in the documentary. Look at how they talk to each other on the jail calls. Like, what? First of all, what do you mean you're letting your 17-year-old, yes, I think that she's mature enough to go live with her boyfriend. They were cooking dinner. Like, be so for real. This is a parenting issue. Not to mention that Mackenzie's dad literally was saying, and the boy had some money. He bought her nice things, and Mackenzie likes nice things. Wonder why. But also, that's weird in itself to say as a father. And then to say that you knew she was smoking and you were okay with it. Basically, as long as she's not smoking, you're cool with whatever she does. And then she gets in trouble for bullying. And you ask her if it happened, and you say, nope, all right, we're all good. And you're a teacher? You're a teacher. And that's why you're on leave. And Natalie Shirilla, oh my God, talk about a nutcase. Which I already knew, since she's literally running her Cash App in prison and buying her whatever makeup, jewelry, limited edition clothes, altering her clothes so tight you can see her crack. But for you to get on the stand and think that you were helping your daughter in any way, and literally go up there and say, Davion was just a new friend. Like, what does that even mean? And I'm glad that the judge clocked you. See, that's why it's important to be a decent parent, because y'all literally paved her way into making her think she can do whatever she wants but do no wrong and suffer no consequences. And now look at her. And now she's doing it in prison because y'all still haven't changed y'all's parenting techniques. What? She's getting written up for everything under the sun. Now hear me out. You can love your children without enabling them. I'm a mother. I have a very supportive mother. But when I went to prison, I guarantee you she was not giving me everything that I want inside prison. She ordered me a box and it was all my necessities, things that I needed, and she made sure I had some extra food. If I called my mom and said, hey, can you cash out this person so I can get my pants altered, my mom would laugh in my face because, what do you mean? Who are you trying to look good for? Aren't you in prison? You made the choices to get yourself there. Be so for real. Love ya. And I have mad respect for that, because what do you mean? I did make the choices that landed me in prison. It is not anybody's responsibility to take care of me. I never once thought that my mom didn't love me. I never once thought that my family didn't want anything to do with me. They just prayed every day that I got better, and they helped me with what they could from the outside. My family did not even pay for me an attorney. I had somebody else do it. And I wasn't going to ask them. My family helped with my daughter and, prayed for me. Because what? They're not the reason that I ended up there. I'm a grown woman who made grown woman choices and suffered some grown woman consequences. And Mackenzie did the same thing. I don't care. She was 17. Guess what? At 17, I knew it was wrong to run my car into a building at full speed. Did y'all? Because I feel like you are taught to know right and wrong. And clearly she wasn't by her bozo parents. Hello, my name's Kat, and if you don't know, I was in prison with Mackenzie Shirilla. Don't believe me? Hold on, I got you. Let's fact check. So we got Miss Shirilla here, institution, Ohio Reformatory for Women, admission date, August 31st, 2023, okay. Now we have me, institution, Ohio Reformatory for Women, admission date, April 10th, 2024. All right, got that clear. Let's talk about the documentary that just came out on Netflix, The Crash, about Mackenzie. Because, oh my God, do I have some shit to say. Foremost, I want to shout out Netflix for making it and filming it in a way that is very, very evident to make Mackenzie and her family look like complete dumbasses. When I was in prison with her, it was at the beginning of her sentence. And the Mackenzie that came on to the Netflix was not the same Mackenzie that I witnessed in prison. I am so glad that they made sure to throw that clip in there that shows her lawyer was there with her, because that's the only reason Mackenzie even went on Netflix. Was one, because she thrived for fame even while I was in prison with her. She thought that she was going to be the princess of the prison. And she also went on there thinking that it was going to help her with another appeal that's going to get denied. We understand that, correct? Let me tell you something. Mackenzie Shirilla did not walk around that prison yard with an ounce of remorse. Mackenzie Shirilla did not walk around that prison yard thinking about those lost loved ones that she claimed to think about every single day. Mackenzie Shirilla walked around prison thinking, how is she going to get in with the cool kids, which in prison, Mackenzie Shirilla did not relate to them at all. But as you can see by this new Mackenzie Shirilla that just popped on the Netflix documentary, she's really trying hard. She's had to get harder. She doesn't even talk the same. The way that she talked in this documentary is not even how her voice sounds. I'm just being honest. She's got a rasp to her voice, and that might be because in there she's starting to do rugs, which I've heard through the grapevine and other inmates that she is, which is what it is. It's bound to happen. You're in there for life. When I was in there with Mackenzie, all she cared about was doing her makeup, walking the yard with her 1 or 2 friends that were also very similar to her, young girls, social media influencer wannabes, thinking that it was a high school popularity contest. Now in the documentary you can tell, because it's been a couple years by now, you can see she's been broken down. You can see that she was starting to hang out with the lifers, which are more, I don't want to say institutionalized, but yeah, institutionalized and harder, I guess you could say, and clicked up with each other. And you can tell just by the looks, and I hate to be whatever, but as somebody who was in prison and in prison with her, you can tell. Mackenzie's story when she was in, like when I was in prison with her, was that she was high on shrooms when this accident occurred. And it had never came out in any documents that she had gotten her blood tested for the shrooms, because it's hard to test for. A lot of states don't. They showed in this documentary that they sent it to an out-of-state lab to get tested, and there was only THC found. So now, like, girl, I already knew that you were lying, but now it's like you're just making up a huge story with no evidence to even try to back you up, so you look even more guilty. You don't care, like, that you took these lives. She walked around, never saw her cry. Are you kidding me? If I was in there, she walks around thinking she's gonna get out. Now, like I said in this documentary, after her appeals getting denied and stuff, I think it's kind of dawning on her that, baby girl, you're finna sit down. You better get in where you fit in, Shirilla. And Dom, and if you think Mackenzie going to prison was the end of her being in toxic relationships, let me tell you something. She was in like 4 in the short span that I was in there with her inside the prison walls. She thrives for that. She lives for that. And her mom, I'm sorry, Mackenzie was like full-fledged, old enough to know what she did, but her bozo ass parents fed into this 100%. Even in prison, Mackenzie's batshit crazy mother was funding her prison lifestyle and making it as comfortable as possible. Mackenzie had everything you can imagine inside prison and more. All the makeup, all the like limited item stuff that like you have to buy, Cash App this, Cash App that. Mackenzie had it. Her mom enables her. Her family enables her like no other. They see no wrong. They're delusional. And Mackenzie has to get it from them. And then the saddest part of it all, which is already evident, is like, of course Dominic and of course Davian, both of them. And if you notice, and I can say this as a mom myself, the mothers of either one of them like refuse to be on any of these. But Mackenzie's mother never turns an eye to a chance to be on social media, on a podcast, on a documentary when it comes to Shirilla, because she could care less about those victims. Mackenzie's gonna have a hard life. They don't have any air conditioning in prison and no RW. It's gonna be a hot summer. And she's got 15, and baby, she's not gonna get parole on that first time. She's in there bullshitting. People have told me. It's in her records, her disciplinary reports. They're not gonna give her that. Her victims' families are going to show up. It is going to be shown in her next appeal that the clip where she is literally asking her lawyer, do you think I did too much? Do you think I don't want to be forcing it too hard? Like, girl, this is an act to you. You're just trying to get out and you're not going to. It's ridiculous. I have so much more like lore and tea when it comes to being in prison with her. But my mind is spinning and I don't want this to be a 20-minute video, so I'll probably make a second part. But that's my take on the Crash Netflix documentary from somebody who was in prison with Shirilla the kid. Okay, some more on calling Mackenzie Shirilla out since I was in there with her. Never one time did I ever see Mackenzie Shirilla go for a blood pressure check, take any type of medication, or go to sick call, ever experience dizziness. In fact, Mackenzie Shirilla would go out in 100-degree heat waves with baby oil on her and sit on the prison yard and tan. So let's just get that understood. The girl does not have any medical issues. A lot of people in my life asked me, what do I mean by her voice seems different? She talked like your average, like, valley girl when I was in there with her. Now in this documentary, she's speaking like forced hood or slang because that is cool in prison. That is like, the more hood, the more gang, the more whatever you are, the more clout you have in prison. And Mackenzie wants clout in whatever way possible. Mackenzie has makeup and jewelry in prison because her mom is ordering it for her, and third-party vendors like Union Supply or Access, like Secure Pack,
and getting them like packages sent in to the prison for her. So that's where she gets makeup, because we could get like our loved ones to order makeup. Also, Mackenzie is on the like prison princess, like paper dolls, the prison sugar daddy websites that like Gypsy Rose found Ryan and Ken on. Mackenzie is on those websites also, so there's sugar daddy supplying her needs. People asked me if Mackenzie ever showed remorse in prison. Mackenzie never cried the entire time I saw her in prison. Not one tear. So for her to sit in that documentary and say that she thought about it every day was bullshit. Also, props to that judge for stepping on Mackenzie's mama's neck during that victim impact statement, because what do you mean? She said Davion was a new friend. Oh, okay. So, yeah, no. And to answer another question, yes, Mackenzie has had multiple girlfriends in prison. She was walking around with on her neck, like Hickey's and since she's gone to prison, so if she was grieving or romancing, she would not have gone to prison for the next 6 months. In fact, 2 of her former prison girlfriends follow me on this TikTok, and one of them I've interviewed on my page. So also, that Rosie Graham girl, if y'all follow her, unfollow her, because she's delusional and she is just trying to get clout off of being a former friend of Mackenzie. Because what do you mean? You would not. What do you mean Davion and Dom were your friends, but you wouldn't help the detectives figure out what happened, but you're so quick to agree to be on a Netflix documentary about it? I love how even the detective or prosecutor threw that in there. Because what? And no, Mackenzie Shirilla will not be granted parole on her first hearing. I can tell you that right now. She's getting flopped.
So y'all want to know what I did to get sent to prison with Mackenzie Shirilla? Okay, let's get into it. Okay, a little foreshadowing. My crime also resulted in a car crash, but not to the extreme or the devastation of Mackenzie's at all. Before I get into this, I want to say I take full accountability. This happened 7 years ago, and it didn't catch up to me until 3 to 4 years later, and I was young, stupid, and careless. And I'm a completely different person now. So in 2019, I was 20 years old and I was making some really careless decisions. I was running around with some really not great people who were also making the same decisions, and I was completely broken. In the midst of running around with all these people, a lot of people were selling and buying, fill in the blank. And for some reason, that was so glamorized to me that I was attracted to it. I was filling something inside of me that was empty, but I was around a lot of those people. I had misdemeanor warrants out of a suburb outside of Nashville. I agreed to ride to Detroit with some of these not great people and I told them from the very beginning that I was not going to ride this car. Now I knew that there were rugs in this car. I knew that there were booms in the car, and I told them, I said, I'm not driving. I'll go with y'all, but I'm not driving because I'm not going to take the fall if anything happens. Foreshadowing again. I knew that these people were probably dangerous, but I just didn't care. I didn't love myself. I didn't care about myself. I didn't care about anything that happened. We set off from Nashville to Detroit, Michigan. We managed to make it all the way from Nashville to Northern Ohio. And at that point, they asked me to drive. It was like 3 o'clock in the morning. Fine, I'll drive. We made it this far, no problems. I think we're cool, you feel me? So we pull into a gas station, college town, if you know, you know. Nobody around. We fill up the gas tank. And I think this was a God thing, because I don't really know what was going to end up happening in Detroit to me or to any of us. I don't know what their intentions were. I get in the driver's seat. Before I pull out, there's cops behind me. And I'm like, oh, You feel me? I'm like, bro, what do I do? What do I do? And they're like, keep going, keep going, keep going. In my head, I'm like, oh, I'm going down. I don't know. I've never been in a high speed chase. Like, this is not GTA for real. I'm not with it for real. Whatever. So that's what I do though. And I took the police on a high speed chase from, we'll say around Toledo, Ohio, all the way to Detroit. So I went through 4 counties and I went through 2 states. They tried to deploy 2 spike strips and they failed. I'm not sure how. They had us marked armed and dangerous because when they ran the tags, the car came up as carjacked. Mind you, these people had this car when I met them. So we get to Detroit and I hear a loud boom. I thought it was a helicopter. The way that it sounded, I said, are those the helicopters? Mind you, I'm going like over 100 miles per hour. And they were like, no, that was the tire. So at that point in my mind, it had registered like, oh, we're gonna crash because I can't press on the brakes. I'm on the interstate. There's cars everywhere. If I press on the brakes on 3 tires, we're gonna spin out like guaranteed. As soon as I'm like, I don't know, I just let off the gas and we spin out 4 times and flip into a median. So instantly the cops come. They have their big pull us out the car. We're going to jail. We're going to jail. We all go to jail in Detroit. I had been to jail at this point before for like petty stuff in, I guess what you would consider a nice jail in the suburbs, and now I'm going to jail in the D. Like, so stupid. Could have hurt so many people. I'm so grateful that I didn't. So then I get to Detroit. I bond out. Okay. A year later, I'm in Florida on vacation. We get pulled over. They tell me I have to go to Ohio. I have warrants in Ohio. I'm being extradited to Ohio. They extradite me to Ohio. It took me 7 days to get from jail in Florida to jail in Ohio. They charged me with failure to comply with policing law officer in the 3rd degree. They said I put the entire state of Ohio at risk. My bond was $50,000. It took me a month to bond out. I bonded out. They knew that I was not from Ohio. So we were all under the impression like I could go back to Tennessee where I'm from and come back for court. So I bonded out and went back to Tennessee. Continued to live a not great life. I'm going to be very honest. I struggled. I partied. I was still hanging around not great people. I was still doing not great things. I went to look online to see when my court date was. They had revoked my bond because I went out of state. I said, I'm not going to court. Catch me when you can. Then months go by. I end up meeting my daughter's dad. I end up getting pregnant. I end up having like a come to Jesus moment with myself where I'm like, okay, I'm going to keep this baby. I'm going to get my life around. I'm going to quit doing all this. Ended up catching a new charge in Tennessee right before I found out I was pregnant. Didn't know that I got charged with this. That's another story for another time. Anyway, went on with my pregnancy, got my life together to the best of my ability with warrants in another state, and had my daughter. 6 weeks later, I was out downtown with some of my friends and was arrested by like 10 bounty hunters for charges in Nashville that I didn't know I had. I'm knowing I have to go to Ohio and answer to my charges there, and I wasn't gonna be able to make bond. So I sat in jail, county jail in Nashville for 18 months. Ended up pleading out to something there, getting extradited to prison in Ohio. Was in county there for maybe 2 weeks, got sentenced to 18 months in prison there. Got shipped out the next week. Was in admissions, went through prison. Did my time, and then went to the halfway house. So I went to prison for taking the police on a high-speed chase. Now, I was in prison. Yes, I was in prison with Mackenzie Shirilla. We've established that. Yes, I'm thriving. I'm living my best life. I've gotten my life completely on track. I'm a mother, I'm a student, and I'm an employee. And yeah, I think everything happens for a reason. I learned some valuable lessons. It took that is what it took for me to get my shit together, because I always thought like, oh, I'm gonna get away with it. I can get away with everything. I'll never get like in big girl trouble. And then I got in big girl trouble, like all at once, and I was taken away from my biggest blessing in the world, which is my daughter, and I never want to feel that pain ever again. So I make sure I do everything in my power to be the best version of myself and be a better version of myself than I was the day before, because I will never walk through the door of a county jail or prison again, and I stand on that.